I'm your host, Laszlo. I promised you before I would show you the truth about the Mandela Effect, which is a psyop. Trying to convince all of us to separate from the flat earth theory and other theories. The truth is, what I'm trying to tell you is going to be very disturbing. I'm going to tell you that if you have children, please don't let them see this video. You yourself might be disturbed by this video. Please sit down, don't watch this video. If you're scared and you want to sit in your own fantasy, don't watch my video. I am Laszlo, and welcome to Laszlo Zone.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Now, none of this was easy. There were some tough years in there. You had fiscal showdowns and government shutdowns and pandemics and oil spills and pirates. Y'all remember the pirates? I mean, the only thing we haven't had to deal with is like the asteroid, you know, or the aliens. That's true, good point. Shouldn't have mentioned the aliens. But we overcame all that.
To get to the bottom of the UFO and Area 51 conspiracies. And I wondered if the president would like to beat her to the punch by, showing his degree of transparency on this issue, which is of concern to a lot of Americans.
Yeah. I have to admit I don't have a tab in my briefing book for Area 51 today.
Or a joke.
Or a joke. Maybe it has. Part of a grand conspiracy. I'm not aware of any plans the president has to make public any information about this, but
does he feel he's gotten to the bottom of it?
Well, I know that he has joked publicly before about one of the benefits of the presidency is having access to that information. I don't know whether or not he has availed himself of that opportunity, but if we have more on this, we'll let you know.
There's this increased interest in Roswell. You're doing the dance at the podium about it. Is there a such thing? Are you, look at you, you're drinking, so you're trying to think. Yeah. Is there such thing? I mean, are you keeping quiet because of security concerns? I mean, are we to think that there might be life beyond here? Seriously, I mean,
I'll just say, April,
this.
There are some questions that even the White House press secretary doesn't have answers to. This is one of them.
You're not going to get off easy like that.
Okay. Well, you keep trying.
So the US military and the Nazis have had flying saucers since 1933. They've even circled the globe during World War II, and they took them out in 3 hours. The whole world, 3 hours. Most people assume that aliens don't exist. But I can tell you they do. It's no fairy tale, okay? If you want to live on your fairy tale existence, that's fine. Have fun with that, because we don't live in a fairy tale existence anymore. I'm serious. The alien agenda is the complete takeover of this planet by the year 2029 and killing off 5/5 of the planet, according to Phil Shiner.
This particular piece of metal is an amazing piece of technology. It's capable of being grown in 15 different crystal systems. Now, I'm a geologist, and I, prior to 15 or 20 years ago, knew of only 6 crystal systems. There's actually 15, if you count all the alien metals. Now, this is only element 140. If you look at the local periodic table in your local library, it says 104. Somewhere down the line, we've been lied to, we've been cheated. What we have to do is we have to literally ask for the truth. If we cannot ask for the truth, we must demand the truth. We must take it before courts of law in common law systems, and we must demand it. If we cannot do this, our founding fathers told us the only thing left is to overthrow, to get the parasites out. I don't advocate overthrow, but it does look like this may be the only alternative.
The New World Order and the alien agenda is the same thing. There are 1,477 underground bases worldwide, half of which are for the aliens. There is a threat of an invasion of 300 million more reptile aliens which control the Greys, according to Bill Cooper.
In 1953, also, astronomers discovered large objects in space which were moving toward the Earth, and it was first believed that they were asteroids. However, if you know much about astronomy, you know that you can predict or project backward orbital paths of bodies in space and determine where they come from, what they're doing, where they're going, and what their orbital path really is. Well, this failed to pan out, and the evidence proved that the objects could only be spaceships intelligently guided. Project Sigma intercepted alien communications, and when the objects reached the Earth, they took up a very high orbit around the equator. There were several huge ships, and their actual intent was unknown. Project Sigma and a new Project Plato, through radio communications using the computer binary language, which the aliens understand very well, they're very mathematical minded, was able to arrange a landing that eventually resulted in face-to-face contact with alien beings from another planet. Project Plato was tasked with establishing diplomatic relations with this race of space aliens. But in the meantime, something else happened. In the meantime, a race of human-looking aliens contacted the United States government. Where this happened, I do not know. I wish that I did. This alien group warned us against the aliens that were orbiting the equator and offered to help us with our spiritual development. They demanded that we dismantle and destroy our nuclear weapons as the major condition. They refused to exchange technology, citing that we were spiritually unable to handle the technology which we then possessed, and has not that been true throughout our history? They believed that we would use any new technology to destroy each other, as we always have. This race stated that we were on a path of self-destruction, and we must stop killing each other, stop polluting the earth, stop raping the earth's natural resources, and learn to live in harmony with each other and with nature. These terms were met with extreme suspicion, especially the major condition of nuclear armament, disarmament, and I have to say that I could not blame them in the face of so many uncertainties and so many alien surprises staring them directly in the face. It was believed that meeting that condition would leave us helpless in the face of an obvious alien threat. We also had nothing in history to help with the decision. Nuclear disarmament was not considered to be within the best interest of the United States, and the overtures were rejected. Later in 1954, the race of large-nosed gray aliens which had been orbiting the Earth landed at Holloman Air Force Base. It happened in 1954, ladies and gentlemen. If you take everything that Bob Ebenegger has ever said and subtract 10 years from it, you will be right on the money. A basic agreement was reached, An alien named Krill was left as a pledge that they would return and formalize the agreement. In effect, he was a hostage. This race identified themselves as originating from a planet around a red star in the constellation of Orion, which we call Betelgeuse. I believe that that's a lie. They lie a lot, and they deceive a lot, and it is evident through every action that they've ever done with us. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, these creatures might be from Mars, really. They claim that they are from a planet which revolves around the red star, which we call Betelgeuse. They stated that their planet was dying and that at some unknown future time they would no longer be able to survive there. This led to a second landing at Edwards Air Force Base. The historical event had been planned in advance and details of the treaty had already been agreed upon. Eisenhower arranged to be in Palm Springs on vacation. On the appointed day, the president was spirited away to the base, and the excuse was given to the press that he was visiting the dentist for a toothache. President Eisenhower met with the aliens, and a formal treaty between the alien nation and the United States of America was signed. We then received our first alien ambassador from outer space. His name and title, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's absolutely true. His name and title was His Omnipotent Highness Krill, pronounced Krill, spelled K-R-L-L-L or C-R-L-L-L. In the American tradition of disdain for royal titles, he was secretly called Original Hostage Krill, or O-H Krill, so that Americans would not have to say, Your Omnipotent Highness. You should know that the alien flag is known as the trilateral insignia. It looks like a TP with two circles on either side of the V and one pole running straight down the middle. It is displayed on their craft and worn on their chest on their uniforms. Both of these landings in the second meeting were filmed, and the film exists today. Where it exists, I do not know.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
The Dulce base in New Mexico now has 100,000 aliens living inside it. At this time, right now. Another 100,000 more have been moved in the Dulce base and other bases. The aliens continue to enter the Earth at a rate of 200,000 per month. The base of Ada, Oklahoma is still very active. The aliens are attempting to move their entire population from their dying planet as quickly as possible prior to the arrival of the Draco reptilians. Reptilians have every intention of ruling this planet. There are many who feel that aliens, such as high technology, that they cannot be defeated.
What you are about to see is a video from 1983 that happened to catch an unforgettable, shocking event. Let's take another look. find footage of the exact moment a cow being sucked into a UFO. More horrifying, the next morning, that cow was discovered back in its pasture, lifeless and bloodless.
There are 9 alien races on Earth right now. And they get high like cocaine off our adrenal glands.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens, Art, they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, I'm sorry, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting...
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government, or?
I don't know.
It has to be something, though.
Well, did you hear? Now, you tell me, because you were listening.
That was awful strange.
There was a really weird guy on the air when it went off?
Yeah. Real weirded out.
Like, going sort of sounding paranoid, schizophrenic?
Like crying and everything.
Yeah. And how far into the conversation was it when it went off?
Just a couple, about 15, 20 seconds, I'd say.
Oh, you guys missed, you really missed a call then, and I've got a feeling somebody didn't want you to hear it.
Yeah. Because it was really strange. All of a sudden, I'm hearing Mark Furman, and
That's right. Well, the network, of course, went immediately to a backup tape while we tried to figure out what blew up here. So that's what you heard happen. And then we're now on a backup link system to be on the air at all right now. So, well, I'm telling you.
Am I on the air right now?
You're on the air right now. Well, you better be, yes.
And
where are you, by the way?
I'm in Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, I called the other night, and I wanted to ask two things.
Real quick.
Well, I wanted to say one thing, and I wanted to ask another.
Real quick.
I wanted to ask if you could play that remote viewing one when you were while you go to Egypt.
Yes.
And also, I wanted to know all this stuff about like Area 51, if it's like the government's trying to put it out there like that, so like some other place isn't being watched as much.
In other words, it's a big decoy. I see what you're saying here, and apparently we'll be back after the news, I think. Sandy Beach here, inviting we lost all transmit capability on this end here in Nevada. The transmitter went belly up suddenly for some unknown reason. I've never seen it do this in all the years that we've been on the air. I have never seen the transmitter in this way just simply fail, massively fail, like a massive heart attack or some kind. And so we have gone to a backup system to get the signal to you right now, and I presume it is getting to you right now.
This may be the reason why there's 100 or more thousands of beings and children missing in America. I will now specify the aliens in our existence. Number 1, Zeta Regalia Greys. Some come from Zeta Regalia near Barnard Star, which is a neighboring star of Orion. They have large eyes. They have very small split for their mouth, and they have no nose to speak of. Polarix Greys. Short Greys, which are shorter than the Zeta Regalia, which are the ones that, like, you know, try to play with your bum hole or whatever. Yeah. Is from a star system near the star system of Orion, which is where Orion is with Egypt, and they have all kinds of fun there anyway. Now we go on to the Orion Greys. Very tall. Another type of gray is very tall, big nose gray. They have large noses and stand about 7 feet in the air. Or about maybe 8. They are based in the Aleutian Islands, and recently were witnessed in the park of eastern part of Russia. That explains a lot. That's why the Russians are hacking us so much, is because of those tall aliens and whatever. Doesn't that make sense? No, it all makes sense now. These creatures are hostile, but less vicious towards humans. They have certain powers and technologies. Totally makes sense. That allow them to perform actions that are almost miraculous. Oh, well, I'm scared. Well, I'm not scared. I want to see these miraculous events that they want to show me. That would be great. They look at humans much like the same way a farmer looks at his cow. The Draco Mothmen. In the constellation of Draco, there is another race of entities which has in the past visited Earth. They are 8 foot tall, dark, nocturnal aliens who appeared around graveyards and parks. They have red eyes, glow in the dark, and wings that fly. They are referred to be as the Mothmen. They are the source of the legends of the past relating to gargoyles and Valkyries.
At this stage, the rocket was traveling between 11 and 14,000 miles per hour when a saucer-shaped craft entered the frame.
It flew into the frame like this, and it shot a beam of light at the warhead. Now, remember, all this stuff is flying at several thousand miles an hour. So this thing fires a beam of light at the warhead, hits it, fires another beam of light, and then flies out the way it came in. And the warhead tumbles out of space. Now, when the lights came on, Major Mansman turned around and looked at me and said, "Were you guys screwing around up there?" And I said, "No, sir." And he said, "What was that?" And I said, "It looks to me like we got a UFO."
They are alien bases in Brazil, Argentina, United States, China, Arctic Circle, Antarctica, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and those of underwater variances on the Earth. They have been the number of bases within the United States, obviously. Some of these close the secret raids of government terms and teams.
Pinwheel in the sky. Speculation has settled firmly on a failed Russian rocket test. Russia's defense ministry has refused to comment, but military sources are telling leading Russian newspapers that there was a test of a Russian Bulava intercontinental ballistic missile that failed yesterday. It had previously been announced that there would be tests of the Bulava in the region between December 7th and 14th, and specifically from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, according to one Russian newspaper. But for now, that's simply the leading theory behind the mysterious blue lights. Alex Marquardt, ABC News, Moscow.
Okay, abductions. People who have been abducted. We're talking about abductions here. About 1 in every 100 people has been abducted by a UFO. Whether they or not, there is a blue ray. During their abductions, capture the people with a blue ray and it takes them up into the ship. The action of being beamed into the ship with a blue ray actually suffocates the person, actually causing oxygen to be sucked from the person's cells, so they hover near death at the moment. However, in the ship, they're revived with another ray that restores their oxygen cells. Okay? Many abductees are quite often cruelly in nature. Humans not want to remember what happened in this clinical experiment that occurred. The aliens have a vacuum tube that goes up their rectum, which is your anal cavity, if you didn't know that. Yeah, no, let me finish. I'm almost done. No, don't worry, it gets better. Which sucks out your intestines and your fecal matter, and then they have their own purpose for existence of their research, and they're looking at certain kinds of food that you eat and examining that person's health. No, let me continue. I'm not done yet. They have been abducting humans for centuries. They see the Earth as a big farm, and they've been raising humans as their harvest. They often abduct them to take them back to their home to raise them as a form of alien husbands or wives, or slaves, or whatever farm animals they want. The main problem is with their cloning process. In recloning, each copy of each copy of each copy weakens, so they are in fact a dying race. This has simulated their interest in creating a new being.
Let me tell you what bugs me as a human endeavour. I've never been the human in question. Have you? Mankind went to the moon. I don't even know where Grimsby is. Forget progress by proxy. Land on your own moon. It's no longer about taking it out there on your behalf, but what we can experience up here in our own time. It's called mental wealth.
We are not going to let that happen. We are going to wake up and we're going to realize that we are not their slaves. We are our own beings, we have our own souls, and we will not take the light when they tell us to go to it. We are going to figure out where we're going to go, and we are going to live our lives, and we're going to live it properly, and we're not going to go to where they want us to be. We are free will beings, and we will go wherever the hell we want to go. They will not control us. Let's have fun, and they can't tell us where to go when we die. We go anywhere. There are many worlds, many different dimensions we can go to. The Mandela effect has shown us how to be everywhere. We have been to many of these. Let's move on. The aliens can't control us. We control our own destiny. You stay away from them, they stay away from us. You treat them like Satan and you say, I ignore you. Good night.
Go, 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 go. Hello? Anybody there? Sorry, that over in KA. Okay.